when you feel like you are ready to phase out of breastfeeding, it can feel really confusing and really emotional, and regardless of the opinions of others, I wholly believe that the decision of how long to breastfeed is 100% up to the mother. If you really feel like breastfeeding is diminishing your quality of life, is making you like irritable with your baby, regardless of what your reason is, it's absolutely your choice. So when you decide, okay, I'm ready to start phasing this out, how do you do it? So a lot of women find that it's helpful to gradually phase out the different feedings throughout the day. So for example, if your baby breastfeeds 2 or 3 times in the morning, early afternoon, 2 or 3 times later in the evening, for 3 or 5 days, you can cut out one of the afternoon feedings. And then for the 3 or 5 days after that, you can phase out one of the morning feedings. So you're just very gradually dropping each feeding. And again, depending on how much you breastfeed, this could take weeks or even months to fully phase out. And I will get to what to do if you need to just stop immediately. But for phasing it out, what you can do is during each of the time that you would usually breastfeed your baby, during that time, if they're not on solid foods yet, you will need to give them, formula. So you can talk to your doctor about the best type of formula for them. But if they're already on solid foods, you can just give them a favorite meal during that time, or you can let them suck on a pacifier. It's also can be really nice to still give them that time to cuddle with you, to read them a book, because a huge part of why children love breastfeeding so much is because they get to be really close to their mom, right? It's like this really special bonding time. So if you're taking away the breastfeeding, you can still give them that cuddle bonding time. And that will likely make it a lot easier for not just the child, but you as well. It's such a sacred, special time. And you can still have that without the breastfeeding component. And you can also, talk to your child about what's happening. Even if you don't think they can fully understand what you're saying, it can still be helpful to just explain, we're not going to breastfeed right now because of X, Y, or Z. Mommy still loves you. I'm still here for you. We're still going to give you lots of yummy milk from another source or food. If you need to cut it out really quickly for whatever reason, you can talk to your doctor about medications like Sudafed, like birth control pills that can help to dry up your milk supply really quickly. If you're not doing something like that, as you phase breastfeeding out, you might start to experience, some really hard breaths. If you have that letdown when your baby typically nurses, you can use some cool compresses on the breast during that time. You can self-express a bit, but your body will eventually learn to not produce milk during that time of day, after you consistently do not do a feeding during that time. So again, with the gradual breastfeeding, it's great because it allows the baby, you, and your breast, your body, to gradually phase into no longer breastfeeding. And you might find that your baby, just starts to lose interest in breastfeeding. And obviously that's one of the easiest ways to wean. They just don't want it anymore. But sometimes it can be a really, really upsetting experience for them. I know with my daughter right now, if I turned her down for a breastfeeding session that she regularly has, she would go ballistic. So prepare yourself for that. Your child might be fine with it, like no big deal, or they might be really, really upset by it, even if you do everything that I suggested, like cuddling them, giving them food. Sometimes they're just like, no, I want the breast. So that might be a little bit difficult. It's also important to know that if you just immediately stop, you could have a higher likelihood of developing mastitis, which is a clogged milk duct that can create an infection in the breast. It can make you pretty sick, but it is something that can be treated with the support of your care provider. And yeah, above all, just be gentle with yourself and your baby during this process. There might be days where you're like, oh, I'm just going to breastfeed you as much as you want. I just can't handle it. That's okay. We all, it's the kind of 3 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. Take it at your own pace. Do what feels right for you. And again, if you feel like you need to take a medication to stop the milk immediately, definitely talk to your care provider first. If you have any additional tips that you think would be helpful, please let us know in the comments below. And please feel free to ask any other questions you might have about pregnancy, childbirth, or early motherhood.